What's up, beautiful soul? My name is Kara Imani, and welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, this is a self-love, self-care channel, a channel about transitions and being a well-rounded individual so that you can step into the world, be your most confident self, and also just be somebody that can alchemize and transition in a way that feels right to you and not to everything externally. So if you enjoy that and that is something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure that you comment something that you are transitioning through right now. And I guarantee you that comment can probably help someone else through what it is that they are going through, because like the law says, there are no coincidences, baby. So let's get into the word. So you already read the title. You already know what the title is going to be. Okay. I want to speak about my transition out of the military. My transition. So first of all, the military teaches people who are in it that perception is everything. You're so worried about external validation and external pleasures and external looks and everything that it makes you do away with yourself. If you're the type of person that came from a household where you had to cater to people, you had to be like a people pleaser, and your needs weren't met, going into the military means that you're going to deal with that even more. Especially as a Black woman being in a space with a predominantly white male dominant space. It was really tough for me to transition out of that space when I had been done so wrong by the people around me that I would have had to go to war with. And I remember being in my active duty time, my active duty contract, and I came to this realization where I was like, if I have to go to war with these people, I wonder if I would even come back home alive. And not from who we would consider an enemy, but from friendly fire. Like, that's how bad it was for me, because I didn't trust the people who were around me to. There's probably like a good one or two, maybe even three people who I trusted, but besides that, I couldn't even trust them like how I would have liked to. So I never felt this feeling of safe, and I never felt this feeling of acceptance of myself, because people were always looking for something wrong with me versus helping to mold me and push me forward. Now, granted, there are some amazing leaders out there in the military who are willing to go to bat for their soldiers, and unfortunately I didn't really have the leadership that really made sure that I was good. Like, I had one leader that made sure that I was good, to a certain extent. Well, I had two. I was blessed to have two. And besides all of the turmoil, those two people, I still couldn't get out of that people-pleasing space, because it felt like I had to be cautious and walk on eggshells and say certain things, because I know that those things that I would say would end up being translated and phoned to somebody else. So moving out of the military and transitioning, I find myself in civilian life not trusting people, not trusting myself, not accepting myself, not dealing with the confidence issues and insecurities that I had towards work, towards the things that I wanted to accomplish in my life, because I was bagged on. I was like, they were making fun of me for different things that I wanted to do. There was nobody who really like pushed me up and motivated me to do things outside of the military. And that was tough. It's tough to feel as though you are isolated in a world where you're surrounded by people. And this is my challenge that I've had to deal with all of my life. I mean, even being a child and growing up in my household, I was around people, but I was still alone in my ideas, my goals, my mindset, the way how I wanted to be treated, the way how I wanted to show up in the world. I wasn't able to really like delve into that. And so as an adult, I made all of my mistakes in that way to push forward and really face the just basically face myself and face the dreams that I've always wanted to accomplish. So I went into modeling, I went into acting, I went into music. I became a life coach once I had gotten my divorce. I jumped out of planes. I've done so many different things. I went into marketing and went into sales, did so many things that I can pat myself on the back for and say that I accomplished and I did the damn thing. But when it came to socializing and really trusting people, that really helped me back in myself, because my nervous system was just so chaotic. And the way how I see this, and I'm going to say this in every video, is I see myself as a video game character. Every time I level up in my character, I have to level up my attributes. And in my space of being, my communication was skewed because I hadn't come to acceptance of who I was and where I was. Now, granted, I didn't know who I was. There's been times where recently I didn't know who I was. I looked in the mirror and I was like, who the hell are you and what is it? Then I had to shift that and say, you get a clean slate. Like, you're a blank sheet of paper again, and you get to rewrite you get to write this story and what it is that you want and create a path that you want. And fuck whoever doesn't want you to sit at their table. Make your own table, because you have the capability to. You have the ability to do these things, to do videography and photography and create this and create that and show up in this space in this way and do it if you want to. And so because I desired more, I shifted into more. So I had to come to an acceptance of what it is that I wanted and face that and say, in order for me to get to this space, I'm being challenged and being isolated in so many different spaces. So obviously the isolation that I feel within myself, because I'm still looking at the world from a perception of how people are looking at me, I shifted that shit, moved that shit around, and was like, I am going to look at the world from a view of how people have seen me. And with me doing my activism work in the model industry in Colorado, and helping people in spaces when it comes to holistic health and healing and speaking to people and speaking life into people, I realized that the person who I was trying to be was somebody who I already am. I already fit this description of who it is that I want to be. All I'm doing is just tweaking here and tweaking there and leveling up in this way and leveling up in this way, but also growing up in certain parts of my life to say, you don't need to complain about this anymore. You just need to do. You just need to do. You just need to do. And when I'm going to give you all an example of that, is when it comes to working for myself, I've been in the best care and the best, I've been at the best, financial standing and comfort when it comes to building somebody else's dream versus building my own. And I knew that I want to be a entrepreneur, and thank God the manifestation and the drive that I feel towards being comfortable with cushion really helped the universe and God just align me with the right tools to get myself to a space where I can focus on my entrepreneurship. And I thank God for the attributes within myself that have allowed me to be in a space where I don't have to worry about survival. And I want to speak about a video, and I'll link it down in the description, of Carl Jung. I listened to a video about Carl Jung, and he was speaking about the fears that we transition out of. And he says that when you have lived your life being motivated by fear, you tend to gravitate to creating more fear after you face the shadows. And if you're a type of person that continues to face those shadows, once you realize that there are no shadows to be faced in this moment of your life, it feels like as if you're losing your mind because you don't know where to go next. And that was the blank slate that I was telling you about earlier. Is I looked at myself after facing some really deep rooted turmoil I wouldn't say turmoil, some really deep rooted belief systems and challenges that I have been blessed to conquer in my life. And I saw myself as somebody that I didn't know. It was so weird to me. I felt like as if my whole being, my purpose was like null and void. I felt like as if I have been forgotten about. And even in spaces when I would be social, I took on that being that was forgotten about. And the way how you see yourself is how you're going to show up. There is no getting around that. And so when you see yourself as somebody who's forgotten, you walk around like as if you are forgotten. You interact with people like as if you're forgotten. And I love me some Maya Angelou, and I had to remember that really famous quote that she says, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And that brings me to, it's not up to you to shift people's perspective of you. It's not up to you to read someone's mind and see what's written across their forehead. You have the power of discernment to see who it is that you should have in your circle, who you would desire to have in your circle, who you would desire to be around, who you desire to give your energy to, more than, a stranger or a person who you don't interact with on a daily basis. But when it comes to you and accepting where you are, the person and like how you show up is to show up and just be, yourself, to show up and show up in a way that not only makes your heart smile, but graces the stage, that every stage or every floor that you interact with and that you step on with grace and a pure intention. Being intentional about life in this moment of my life now is so important to me, because I've made so many mistakes out of being scared and having a chaotic nervous system, that I realized that the problem wasn't with me trusting other people. It was really about me trusting myself, because I had trusted people with bits and pieces of me that were things that I thought I had to make. Like I would have my pieces of my heart in my hand, and I was like grabbing people's hand and saying, you're gonna hold this with me. Like that's what it felt like as if I was doing. And I was hoping and praying through my abandonment issues and my avoidance issues that this would, make that person stay. But really those people were they weren't supposed to be in my life for seasons. And that's another thing. It's not only about you trusting yourself too, because you are not everyone's cup of tea, and your actions are going to lead to other people acting in the way that they need to in order to either get out of your life, or to stay in your life, or to be in your life temporarily. And you have to accept whether you have avoidance issues or abandonment issues, or the feeling of I'm not enough, or I'm too different and I'm too unique, or things aren't available to me. You have the choice to allow yourself to just be and let things go when that time comes for you to let them go. People don't speak about how, even though being in the military is you're a part of a brotherhood or some sort of family. If every family has some jacked up characteristics and characters in them, right? And the military was another family that was jacked up and just really, honey, made me feel as though I wasn't enough. They helped me understand that I stood out and that I was different. And they also helped me believe that a lot of things that I do can be threatening. And God put me on this earth and gave me the personality that I have to, world some, what's it called? Like, really stir some shit up and make people move and make people feel a certain kind of way. And even though I have pure intentions and I come into a space with love, I can't say that all the time I wasn't petty, or that I had or that I'm just this perfect person, because I'm definitely not a perfect person. I made so many mistakes, and the biggest mistakes that I've made were out of fear of abandonment, fear of being looked at a certain way, being perceived wrong, and so many other things. But as I transitioned out of that space, I separated further and further away from my avoidance issues and my separation issues by accepting where I desire to be and accepting the challenges as they are challenges. Also forgiving myself for making some countless stupid mistakes, whether it was associated with finances, associated with giving people too many benefits of the doubt, forgiving people for doing me wrong, allowing people to do me wrong over and over and over again, whether it be in friendships, intimate relationships, or whatever. And also forgiving myself for showing up in a way where people felt like as if they had that right to just do me any kind of way. And so I came up with this thing that I do in my journaling, and what I do at the end of my journaling prompt every single day, I would write 3 things that I refuse. See, psychologists speak about some of the words that the brain doesn't recognize. And these things that the brain doesn't recognize are don't, can't, not, and there's some others. And so I rephrase I won't do this, or I cannot do this, or I would never do this again. I rephrase that to I refuse to ... And every day I would get my ventricular activation system, which is a part of your brain that helps you basically laser focus on things that you desire, that you put in your head to pay attention to. So for example, if you say that right now I want to see all of the things in this room that are blue, your brain is automatically going to pick up different things that are blue within this room, because that's what you tell it to. And it's so powerful to know that you have the power over your mind when you don't have the power over things externally. We don't have power over things externally. The only thing that we can really focus on and be true to is ourselves, and understand that not everyone is going to want to or have to be around you and love on you and cater to you, because 9 times out of 10, honey, people ain't even doing this for their damn self. Okay, so when it's time for us as individuals to see the power of how our energy breaks chains within the collective around us. When you shift and elevate yourself and frequently, you are really doing the world and the universe justice, because operating at a higher frequency not only elevates you, but naturally you end up controlling the things around you and making things better around you. You don't have to try to control things and be possessive and be so possessive over your transition and how things are going to look, and make things look like how you see them in your head, because that's not how that's going to work. It's about you loving on yourself to see yourself in a different way and elevate yourself off of that higher frequency that you gather, so that you can attract the people who are truly meant to be around you, that love on you, that motivate you, that shift you in ways that you deserve, because you are deserving of more. You are deserving of giving yourself more. You are deserving of being in rooms where you may not be the smartest person, but understand and accept that you always have something to offer, because there is no coincidence about you being in spaces that you would feel in your past character, past level up, that you didn't belong. You belong. You are enough. You may be different, but that is beautiful. And also, the things that are available to you will come to you, and do not, let's be like that. Refuse to allow anything less than what you deserve. You know, when I was going through my divorce, I remember what helped me shift mentally was moving things around in my bedroom, moving things around in the apartment, making the apartment seem as though it's something completely different than what it was. And yes, moving these pieces of furniture felt like I was doing something just so dumb and really not progressing, period. But as the days went on, and I saw a post-it note on my mirror in my bathroom that says I am enough, or saw my vase in a different part of the room, or slept in my bed in a way that was turned different than when it was when I was sleeping with my ex, like, it definitely refreshed me that next day. It helped me give myself that blank sheet of paper and say, write this story that you want. And so whether you're transitioning out of the military, whether you are transitioning in life, maybe you're grieving from something, maybe you are just leveling up in a different way that you're not used to, and it may seem scary to you, I want you to shift that fear for excitement, because the brain doesn't know the difference between excitement and fear. So if you continuously tell yourself that you're excited about this new move, guess what? You are in control of this system, of this temple, of this lighthouse. You are in control of this feeling that you have that's going to motivate you and shift you and move you forward. And it's time for you to move. There's no complacency when it comes to this earth school, baby. You have to move, because not only do you have the choice, but if you don't take that choice, you're going to move in a different way than you would really like. So when the time comes for you to accept something, accept it with open arms and allow for that unknown to just take you, whether you are, nervous about something or not, because you're going to move anyway. So I'm gonna bring back I'm gonna summarize this video and speak about trust. It's hard to trust people. But like I said with Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them the first time. Maybe you want to treat them with the long handled spoon. Maybe you want to do away with their energy completely, and you have the choice. You have that right to do so. And understand, and that moves me into the next one, is acceptance. Accept certain things about yourself. It's not if you're the type of person who isn't rude to people, and you're nervous about how it may come out when you speak to this person, trust yourself that when it comes to that time, because you think about other people's feelings, that you won't come across as somebody who is just a negative person. When you step forward and put yourself first and have those pure intentions to motivate yourself and mold yourself and declare what you refuse, the things around you follow suit. And so trust that you're not going to talk to them in a rude way or it come off as something that you will regret, but it's something that you are doing is as a service to yourself, self being capital S, and it's shifting you for the better. Trust, acceptance, and forgiveness. Forgive yourself for the things that you have done wrong in the past, because the forgiveness that you have not allowed is going to hurt your trust within yourself. I forgive myself for falling in love with someone who hurt me. I forgive myself for staying in relationships longer than I wanted to because I was afraid of hurting other people's feelings. I forgive myself for not setting my goals earlier and finishing the things that I've started. I forgive myself for not pushing forward with certain things that I allowed to keep me in the same spot and go into a depression. I forgive myself for not speaking up when I needed to. I forgive myself for not asking for help in times where I truly, truly needed it. Forgive yourself and let some things go, because the person that you are moving toward and shifting into, that you asked to be, that you asked for these challenges for, they don't deserve this baggage. They actually don't even want it. They don't want the baggage. It's easier to move through life with 15 pounds than it is with 150. And so if you want to move the efficient way, it's time to grow up and level up in certain aspects of your mindset and just face things for what they are, challenges, and know that this is a test that you can pass, that this test is available to you because there is an amazing person that's standing on the other side of that test, waiting to just merge into you, and you merge into them, and you elevate and upgrade within your being to just say, my nervous system doesn't have to be chaotic. I don't need to be anxious in this moment, or my anxiety is telling me that I don't need to be here. And also understand that that person is just a version of you that you don't have to chase to be, but that they're already within you, and just looking to work synergistically with you to just upgrade different attributes of yourself that will lead you deeper into the person that you desire to be. I love y'all. Make sure you go ahead and comment down below if this resonated with you. Like the video, share it if you care, and I look forward to the next one. Bye.